Hello, Flosstube.
Greetings.
I'm Laura.
I'm Joe.
Welcome to the Slovak Farm.
This is the farm where we grow cross-stitch.
One stitch at a time. Today is Monday, May 29th. It is the last Monday of May. It is also Memorial Day here in the United States.
Which is probably why I'm in a good mood because I didn't have to go to work today.
Yes, today's the day where we take time to remember the servicemen and women who are no longer with us, whether they died serving our country or our veterans that have passed away. It's also a bank holiday today in the UK. I don't know if there's any particular reason, but for some reason I know that it's bank holiday in the UK.
Probably because they like the idea.
Yeah, I don't know. We hope you all had a wonderful week. Last week? We had a good week. We had a good week. Nothing spectacular happened. Like, nothing crazy happened. Nothing happened.
We got the pool up and running.
We did get
in it.
We got in the pool today because it was a wonderful 80-something degrees. I think it topped out at 80. It's going to be 86 tomorrow.
Let's just say solar covers are awesome.
Yes, it's going to be in the mid-80s all week this week. And very dry.
I'm going to have wet hair all this week.
Bring on the heat so I can go swimming.
There's also the fact that, how do you know you've made it in life? You have a pool and you have central air. That is my definition of making it in life. Because I hate the heat.
Meanwhile, I love the heat.
You don't like it that hot.
Yeah. But
Then again, she's sitting here shivering like you wouldn't believe, and I'm sitting here in a t-shirt going, hey, you want to turn the temperature down a little more? And she's like,
no, I do not.
That's how I'm built, so.
Yeah. Nothing crazy happened this week. Spent Friday morning decorating the church for Pentecost, and it looked beautiful, and of course I didn't take any pictures. Oops. Oh well. Yes, somebody just drove down our street on a four-wheeler. Welcome to the country.
I actually want to be like, hey, dude, don't do that any other day of the week. They actually like to drive by at this time of day during the week. When it's not a holiday.
Yes, they do.
And that would have been really funny, because I get to see the police officer going, whoop, whoop. Dude, would you like the number of reasons why driving an unregistered four-wheeler in the middle of the road is a dumb idea?
Without a helmet, by the way. Okay, moving along. So, yeah, Friday decorated for the church for Pentecost. That was always fun. Always fun doing the church decorations. I love being on that committee. Yesterday, I went to the Great Lakes Fiber Festival. Lone Fiber Festival? I think it's just Fiber Festival. And it is at the Wayne County Fairgrounds in Worcester, Ohio. It is what?
Nothing.
It is,
I didn't know you went that far away.
Yes, we went to Worcester. We went to Worcester. Worcester. It's just kind of like on the very edge of Amish country in this area, in Ohio, in that area, in eastern Ohio, because there's kind of an Amish conglomerate to the southwest of us as well. But anyways, so it was basically yarn. They showed, it was a lot of yarn, but they showed other types of, wool fiber. They had sheep shearing demos, knitting, crocheting accessories. They had this really cool booth that they sold upcycled knitting and crocheting hooks. So basically they would get the knitting and crocheting hooks and they would turn them into things. Wind chimes, necklaces, bracelets, shawl pins, hairpins. What?
I was actually seeing whether or not you could turn them into darts and also something used for fishing.
Okay.
Well, they're naturally barbed.
Yes. Well, a crochet hook kind of is. I almost bought one of the shawl pins, but I did not.
Buy a small crochet hook and make it your own.
Those were made out of knitting needles. I did take a picture of it. I'll show you the picture of it later. So I did buy some stuff there though, so we'll show you that in haul. So our week was kind of boring. Like I said, we already went in the pool and we'll be in there some more. So without further ado, I think we should move. We can. Oh wait, we can shout out our commenters. We need to shout out our commenters because y'all had some thoughts and opinions about them geese.
Okay. Obviously, Junebug, Susie Scott, Bridget, Andrea, something. Okay. Janet, I'm reading them. Teresa and PD Stitcher, otherwise Tamara.
Yes, and several of you agreed with me that you are not sampler stitchers as far as the alphabets go. And yeah, y'all had some thoughts about them geese.
You want to know the other problem? I don't have a problem with geese.
Yes.
No rejection of why?
Why?
Wah.
Well, that's true. I just... The blue geese phase of the 90s was kind of weird.
Technicolor parachute pants.
Less weird than the whole blue geese thing. And you know, one of the things we were talking about...
Fanny packs. Those whatever glasses with the little things across them.
Oh, yeah. So as we were walking around at the Wool and Fiber Festival yesterday, someone had one of those concrete ducks on their stand, and it had a little knitted sweater on it, and we were laughing, and we were talking about how back in the day, everybody had those concrete ducks, and they would dress them up with, like, clothes and shoes and a little hat, and it was, like, insane. And my grandmother had one, and she would dress hers up. She had, like, a sizable Rubbermaid tote of clothes for this concrete duck. The things we used to...
I had a really funny idea this out of.
What?
I want to get this is a outdoor... I want to get an outdoor frog with an anvil hanging above them and a little coyote.
That's funny. Alright, well, let's...
If you get it, you get it.
You get it, yes. Shall we move into whips?
Okay, we can go to your show.
Whips!
Zelda.
Zelda's his current whip. The video game Zelda.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of the type of person I am, I'm going to be doing this for 2 months. I don't get to play every day, but usually it's like Zelda.
That works. Alright. Well, I guess then we will start with my whips. Excuse me. Harriet Tubman week in Daily 30 was last week. So here's what I stitched on for that. We will start with Jingle All the Way by Little House Needlework. I'll take it out of the bag. Sometimes I like to be lazy. Okay, I like to be lazy and not do that, but I will take it out of the thing if you guys can't see it. And this is still kind of hard to see. So, Jingle All the Way by Little House Needlework. Here is where I started it. And here's where I am at on it. I got 831 stitches on it. I did 2 prompts with it. Something that had a large building on it. Obviously there's a big old barn on it. And something that reminds you of community. Or that brings to mind a community. It's farm, quilts, horse-drawn sleigh. I think the Amish Even though it's probably not really Amish, but you know.
The Amish literally gather everybody in the dang community to put up a barn.
Most of my stitching was red. I finished filling in the bottom part of the barn. I got the top part of the barn with white stitched in. It's actually like a very light tan. And then did the chickens, and then started on the red in the barn. The house is supposed to be stitched in white, and while you can see the white that I am, it's called Primitive Stripes. It's a Victorian motto. You can see it so much. You can actually see it, like when you're looking at this in person. I don't think I might have enough of it to do that big old house.
Match the color to our house.
I could do that.
That way you can actually at least somewhat think that you have a house on a farm.
Have a blue house. I could do that.
And if you really want to like make it a combination of you and me, color match it to TARDIS blue.
That would be an awful bright blue house for a traditional stitch, but I do like the idea of doing it in like a blue-gray.
Okay.
So I'll have to I'll have to dig through flosses and figure out what color to do that with.
By the way, this is actually when we plan a lot of this stuff. It's just when we're talking.
Well, this is where, we pop off a lot of these ideas, and
you get to see the creative process of me spouting random stuff until it sounds good. Oh, did you?
Did I? No, I did not. And I didn't do it this morning either, so I need to do that. We're talking about my medication.
I was trying to be I was like, I didn't want to just sit there and go, hey, honey, did you pop your pill today?
That is where we're at today with the randomness, and I have no shame in the fact that I take medication. It's metformin, it's for blood sugar, so.
Hey, honey.
What?
Would you like to know, can I tell them what kind of day this really is?
Huh.
Laura looked at me 20 minutes ago and looked down and went, yeah, I got to change out of my nightshirt and back into regular clothing so we can film Flosstube.
Yeah, we got out of the pool, I went upstairs to change, and I just put on my nightshirt and forgetting that we needed to film Flosstube. I probably could have gotten away with just putting a bra on and filming it in my nightshirt, but...
No one would have known. You want to know what would be really funny? The number of people who would have commented asking where to buy that top would have been your luck. Because then you would have had to fess up on the fact that it was a nightshirt.
And I would have fessed up on it. Oh well. Okay, moving on.
As I said, do you know the difference with me what the difference is between a nightshirt and a shirt is? Length.
There you go. So my next whip was Spirit of Christmas by Sister Lou Stitches. This was the pattern from the 2022 Slovak Farm 12 Days of Christmas Mystery Box. So, here's a preview of where it was when I started. Okay, so I used Spirit of Christmas for 2 prompts. Something that was a dream of yours to stitch, and I tied that in because it was a dream of mine when I first started dyeing fabric to have a mystery Christmas thing, Advent, Christmas, mystery, whatever, box, and that pattern was part of my reality of my dream. Didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but hey, whatever. And then to stitch on something that you are doing on the called for fabric and or in the called for flosses, and because it's on my fabric and I provided the flosses to the designer to stitch it, it's Sullivan's flosses, so I'm doing it in all the called fors. So I did 894 stitches on it. So this and Jingle All the Way are both on Heirloom by the Slovak Farm. And so I finished all the words. I think I only had the C done in Christmas. So it was Christmas and is, and then the True Spirit of is finished, and I started the tree. Little angel, and started the tree. This is, so all I really have left to do is finish the tree, and there's some nice people down here and this will be done. So this is going to move into the almost finished category. Yay! That'll be exciting to finish that. Okay. So with that complete, I moved on to doing my Sal prompt. I do have it. And for this week's Sal, I used the Tale as Old as Time Sal from Storybook, or no, it's called Story Stitches. It's Tale as Old as Time Sal, based on Beauty and the Beast. That's kind of a preview of it. It was a mystery stitch along. All of the parts have been released. I am so far behind. I got very frustrated with stitching this. I'm a little less frustrated with stitching this now because I figured out how to make it less frustrating. Yes?
Why are you surprised you're behind on a stitch along?
Because I have 30 whips.
No, I mean, of the half dozen to a dozen stitch alongs you've done since I started paying attention to it, you have been behind on every single one of them by the time you started. Why are we surprised, and why do you care?
I'm not surprised. I don't care. I'm just putting it out there that it had already wrapped up.
Okay.
Alright. Here's where it was when I started stitching. And here we are now. I did 331 stitches on this. This is on a piece of Silk Weaver's fabric, but I do not know the colorway of it. And yes, it does have a little bit of gold glitter in it. So I finished Gaston's Tavern room. And that actually finished out most of the stitches. So I just filled in this little tower guy here. The towers are filled in like 8/19. And I'm kind of plotting through them, kind of alternating between stitching on them and working in a block, or like if I get a block finished and I need some stitches, I'll work in these. I've been a little bit less aggravated with working on this, only because I said, F it, I'm working with colors that are already in this bag because I should have enough colors for that. You know, the exception of work too. And most of the outlining that needs done is going to get done in one color, and not the 6 confusing colors that she charted it in. This is a very confusing pattern to work with, so I've had to adapt a little bit for myself. Okay, so that finished up Harriet Tubman Week. I used my free pass to cover the 5th prompt for the week, which was something that motivates you.
What motivates me is getting things for free.
Well,
you used a token.
that is true.
It's like using a vacation day.
Last time I offered something up for one of those prompts, I got in trouble, but that's another story. I just kind of was like, I have the free pass. Might as well use it because I wanted to finish up the monthly, and I didn't know how long that was going to take, and it actually probably didn't take me. Well, it took me longer than probably, because I had to go over to the church and work in the church all morning Friday morning. And now my Thursday mornings are kind of taken up too by church stuff because I joined a it's called the Divine Mercy. It's a Senecal study. We're looking at Sister Faustina and her writings in the church. So that kind of takes up my Thursday mornings. So this was a lot of Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon. So I was a little bit slower, but I pulled out Little House Needleworks, my second Little House Needleworks of the week. Fall on the Farm. Her bags are very shiny. When I first started doing this...
Actually, I think it's the paper. The paper is very shiny.
So, like, it's all one sheet, right? So when I first started stitching this, I would just fold it out and do my working copy. And then I realized if I did, like, half and half with working copy, I could put 2 on one page. Knucklehead. So, this is block 4, which is called Pick Your Own. And here's where I started. Why am I sitting here struggling with this on camera when I can just pause, struggle with it while it's on pause? Okay, and here's where I have gotten. This is on a piece of dirt road by the Slovak Farm. I finished the Pick Your Own block. And I put the acorn in, what's it called? Block 5 is called Changing Leaves. So, and I do have more fabric, I just had to pull it. So, there it is. I use this for the A and the R in the Mayflowers monthly. The A because the apples. The R because there's some R's up in here in this sign. And that was 605 stitches altogether on that. It's a very squirrel-rific kind of floss tube today.
I did that a little too well, y'all.
Alright, so the May monthly was finished with those 2 prompts. Then I moved on to working on my next Olympics, which is the yearly. And that was Olympics 22, which was the 1980 Moscow USSR Olympics. And we had to do 900 stitches for that one. And I was on Raven Queen, because this was the only one I had not rotated through yet. And let me tell you all, she and I had some issues. So as you may or may not know, I am doing her in a color conversion.
There's issues, and then she had to ask me for advice about color. Which, for those who don't know, I stink with color.
Yeah.
So, if you're asking me, it's a problem.
Yes. So let me show you where I started with her at. And this is where I have gotten to her. I did 924 stitches on her. So I worked a lot of the gray shading in the dress. And then I started working on the red. And this is my first combinations of reds for the skirting. It was way too bright. Way too bright, y'all. So then I pulled the color that I had used for her center column, which is a Victorian Mottos color, and pulled some colors around it. I do believe this might be slightly darker than 816, which she says it's equivalent to, but I used this burgundy ribbon, or 816, and then I pulled 815 into it. And then I worked 8. Where is my little?
Can I put this down?
Where's my color chart? Hold on, no, I'm getting there. Okay, so my color chart. So then I worked Victorian Mottos. It's called Very Cherry. She says it's equivalent to $4.98. I thought it was closer to 816. No, this is 814. 814 is the darkest. 815 and then 816. It was closer to 816 when I compared the two. And then I pulled DMC 498 for the very lightest shade of red. And you can tell this side works much better than this side. But I'm very glad that it worked out, because I was slightly concerned that I wasn't going to be able to figure out, thank you, I wasn't going to be able to figure out the colors for it, and it wasn't going to look right. But it works. And this is on a fabric called Raven Queen by the Slovak Farm. And that has been my stitching for the week. Obviously, I have haul because I went to the Great Lakes Fiber Festival yesterday, so we will do haul next. Haul.
Y'all.
Okay. So I have yarn haul, and next week I'm gonna have some cross stitch haul because I had to order something from 123 Stitch, and of course because of the holiday, it's not gonna be here till tomorrow. So. Let us start. So the first thing, well, okay, so this wasn't the first thing I got, the fiber thing, but I got, it is called a yarn snuggler. So it's got some stretch to it, but I was like, okay, I saw this, I'm like, what is a yarn snuggler, right? When you ball up your hank of yarn before you pull it off your winder. You put it around it like the yarn skeins you buy at the store that are already kind of balled up and center pull they say, and it holds it together like this label is here. And she was showing me pictures, and it works really well. So we're going to see. I bought one for the time being. Make sure it works, I guess.
Can I ask the Joe question?
What?
How is it to get this fabric?
I don't know what kind of fabric it is.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's some kind of knit. But, okay, for 100 grams of worsted or lighter yarn, I got one skein of, have no clue what it's called, because the tag fell off, and the girl didn't remember what it was, and it was like one, in this bin of one-offs, because you know how sometimes when you're a dyer, you get some one-offs that aren't like the rest of the colorway. Well, this was...
I got a great name for that one.
What?
Very Berry. That it looks like Very Berry, either candy or ice cream, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, it's a pretty yarn. I'm going to have to find something to do with it, one skein, or get a couple colors that complement it and do something with it. But, I don't know. I couldn't walk away. It was too pretty. They were all giving me a little bit of a hard time because, like, they all kind of drifted towards the browns, tans, earth tones. They were very much towards the earth tones, and I like the bright stuff. They were, you know, they were teasing me. And then I got.
Please tell me you beat them with the glitter.
What?
They teased you, so you beat them with the glitter.
Well, I picked up this one skein of yarn, and one of the ladies goes, "Look, this looks just like that one, only it's on glitter." I'm like, that will go perfect for the project that I have in mind for this. So I bought 2 skeins of this. It is called The Wall.
Silver sweet.
Silver shiny DK. DK is the weight. It is a merino, superwash merino wool with nylon and the metallic in it. It is called The Wall. It is by Destination Yarn. Destination Yarn is a dyer that's up in Cleveland, Ohio. But is a very beautiful, like, blue, white, gray, little bit of blue flecked through it. And yes, I have a project in mind for this. I'm hoping 2 skeins is enough. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pray that she has
more
available. I'm pretty sure she does. So, that's what I got at the Fiber Festival. And that's it for haul. So why don't we go on to plans and announcements. Plans and announcements. Zelda.
And surviving work.
Work hasn't been that bad lately.
You have no idea how we never do.
What I lived through. Okay. Moving along. So Friday, our new prompts in Daily 30 were for Maypole Week. Now everybody knows I dance around the maypole. It's a big tree trunk with ribbons and blah. I know, it used to be a thing. It's not really a thing anymore, but. Alright, so our first prompt is to stitch on a whip with a tree or a town. I got a couple of those, so I think we can figure something out. This is a 100-200 week. We'll see if I use a pass on one of them. Just because I earned the free passes, so I might as well use the free passes. Yes?
Yeah, but I'd use them on the 3-4s, not the 1-2s.
But you get one for each week.
Okay.
So, like, you finish the monthly, and you get all 10 on the monthly, you get a pass for each week of the next month for the weeklies.
Oh, so it's use it or you lose it.
Basically.
Okay.
Okay. So, stitch on a whip that you love and tell us why. I love all my whips. I do.
Yeah. You know what? And there's some whips you have to love. That's the reason why they're not kindling.
Well, that's probably true. Honestly, if I didn't love it, I wouldn't stitch on it, even if it was a struggle bus.
I just have a good question for the comment section, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
How many of you all have had projects where it's like you're dealing with a sibling? You love and hate them equally at the exact same time.
Okay. Stitch on a whip with plants. I have lots of plant whips. Because I have several farms and villages, and yeah, I have plants. Stitch on a whip that uses at least 8 different colors.
80% of your stuff? That'd be foobar for me.
Well, yeah.
I have one.
No, I think that Dimensions thing has more than 8 colors. So I should probably mention, as we're sitting here talking about plans, I looked at what I had not stitched on yet for this second rotation of through projects in 23. And the only 2 projects I have not stitched on so far for a second time this year are Harvest Hauler and the Reindeer. So Harvest Hauler fits for 8 different colors, a plant, a whip I love, and then there is, the last one is stitch on a whip of your choice and tell us if you have any maypole traditions. We don't. And the reindeer would obviously fit for a whip of choice, a whip with a plant, a whip that I love. I think there may actually be a tree on the reindeer too. What?
Did somebody really ask, hey, do you have any traditions for this dead holiday?
It's not a dead holiday in some parts of the world.
Okay, but like, that's kind of like one of those where it's just like, if you're not like doing it for, if you, like, so many people would probably not have that. So it's kind of mean. That's what my point. Okay.
It is, but it is still celebrated in parts of Europe.
I know. I just that does not take away from what I said.
And the crux of the whip says, you know, in modern times, fewer people celebrate it. So she's asking, you know, hey, do you celebrate it?
No.
Okay. So that is Maypole Week and Daily 30. Thursday starts the new month, so we will get prompts for the monthly and whatnot. So I don't know what those are yet. So that is plans. If you have seen anything that you like, contact me and I can order for you because I'm an LNS and I would like people to buy stuff from me.
I just checked notes. Next week we have the guild meeting because the 31st is Wednesday. I forgot how many days we're in this month.
We did that last Monday at Station. They're like, oh, I guess we won't get together then again until guild meeting next Wednesday. I said, no, guild meeting is the following Wednesday because the first falls on a Thursday. But then a few of us got together and went to Worcester yesterday.
Okay.
But, so, yes. Alright, so that's plans, that's announcements. What would we like the folks watching the video to do, honey?
Please like, comment, share, bell notification thingy me bobby, the whole YouTube thing.
Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with us this week. We were a little squirrely today. It happens from time to time. I think because the schedule, I think it happens more when our schedule gets off because of days off and craziness, but whatever. So, thank you. We will see you next week.
Bye.